Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. And if you've watched me enough, you know that Thursday is hashtag Thursday BookTube, which is an open collaboration hosted by myself and my friend Daphne over at My Mountain Home and Kitchen. And you can talk about any kind of book, whether it be a cookbook, a novel, a color book, whatever you want, a magazine, anything to do with books and reading. And we don't have a lot of restrictions on there, other than we ask you to do it on Thursdays and to put the hashtag in there, Thursday BookTube, so that it will come up and we can watch it. Daphne has a wonderful playlist going with everybody's videos in there. So if you want ideas of new books, go to that playlist over at My Mountain Home and Kitchen, and all kinds of videos come up, like so many. Anyway, so today I am here to talk about Lisa C.'s Lady Ten's Circle of Women. Wow. So we read this for book club, and I didn't know it was going to be so historical, but it was. It starts out in like 1467 or something, and it's basically the whole book talks about the traditions of the Chinese culture. And when you are born a girl, you are set up with your husband at between the age of 2 and 3, and you get married at 15. Your parents have to give the husband's parents lots of gifts, and you save up for this your whole, 13 years until you go to your new husband, and you don't meet that husband until your wedding day. And once you go to that husband, his mother, so her mother-in-law, has complete control over you. So if she doesn't want you to see your family, you don't see your family. And shockingly enough, for the most part, the women got along with their husbands. The ones that were all, their marriages were arranged, they all got along. And so it showed in this one how, this young girl of 15, Milan, I believe her name was, is a medicine doctor. And she was taught by her grandmother because her mother passed away when she was young. And so her father sent her off to live with her grandparents. And her grandparents were both doctors. And so her grandmother taught her how to be a doctor, mainly of women and birthing children, but also all kinds of diseases. And of course, they used all kinds of teas and herbs and remedies to cure all these things. And it was a very interesting book. It was sometimes a little bit heavy. It took me about 80 pages to really get into the book. And then the last 50 pages really tied the whole story up. A lot happened in the last 50 pages too. So, I'm not going to go into great detail about the book because there's so much to share, because so much happens in this book between Milan and her best friend, who is not of royalty. She's a midwife, but they stay friends throughout their whole life. And there's just a lot that goes on in this book. And so I give the book a 3.5. Now, I know a lot of people will just say, oh, Lisa C. is a 5. And she writes many, many books, and they all, are about the Chinese culture. This was my first book to read of Lisa C.'s. I give it a 3.5. It was a little slow for me. It was very historical. Sometimes I like very historical books, but I guess it's the way it's written. Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds was a historical book, and I absolutely loved it. There was a story to it, and there was also the history of it, and I absolutely loved that book. The Woman from Kristen Hanna was another one, very historical, but she tied in, other, like a love story almost, into it, and I learned a lot from that book, and I loved that book. Those books both got 5s in my opinion. Will I read another Lisa C? Maybe so, but it's going to be a while before I do. But, a lot of people raved about the book. The reason why I read it is because two of my customers at work really raved about the book and loved it. So I can see that, but that's my standings of the book. After a heavy book like that, I always go and resort to my good friend Danielle. And we are reading Lost and Found right now. I am almost done. I think I have about 30 pages left to go, and I am loving this book right now. So it's about a lady in her late 50s, 58 or so, and she has 3 children, and she's divorced, and then her divorced husband passes away, and her children are all grown and living lives of their own, and they kind of forget about their mother. And then her oldest daughter becomes very hateful with her all the time. Just, she fell off a ladder at 58 at her home and broke her ankle, which is, anybody can do that at any age. And her daughter's ready to put her in a care home or have somebody live with her or have the, necklace around you, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. And so the mother goes off on an adventure to meet up with some old friends and then also to go see her children. She lives in New York, and her son and her youngest daughter live in California. So she goes all over. She leaves New York and travels the countryside. Her daughter's just bitter. Her older daughter's bitter. And she calls her brother to complain about the mother. And the brother realizes they haven't been giving the mom a lot of attention. And so he kind of sticks up for his mom, and then it's just a good feel-good book, and so I am liking it. I'm not going to do a second review on it because I just did a pretty intense review now. So I'm going to give this book a 5. I know a lot of you are just like, roll your eyes at a Danielle Steel. And you know that most people that say, I can't read a Danielle Steel, most of them haven't picked up a Danielle Steel. 2 of my friends that say, I'm not reading a Danielle Steel. That's where I stand. And then they say, I don't think I've ever read one of her books. Well, then why are you labeling somebody, I don't know. It just irritates me. I like her. You all know I like her, and I like the book. I also started the second book of the Laura Ingalls Wilder, Farmer Boy, which I never read as a child. I read the first one, I read Little House on the Prairie. And I don't read this one intensely. I read this one here and there, just a page here and a page there. And it's just cute. It's just the typical what you expect it to be. But I am reading it, and so I'm enjoying that. And for our next book club, another lady picked this time, and she picked from James Patterson, When the Wind Blows. So I think I've only read one James Patterson in my whole life. So there's another one. He is a mass producer of books. So are you going to label him? Are you going to say, I wouldn't read anything of James Patterson? And some people, when I showed them at work, they're like, you got a James Patterson? I don't know. He may be really good. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I will let you know what I think about this book later on. All right. So those are my books that I'm talking about today. If you guys would like to join in and be a part of the Thursday BookTube, we'd love to have you. Just upload on Thursdays, anything you want. If we don't come over and comment on your video, let us know, because sometimes they get past us, and we'll go over and watch your video and put it on the playlist. You guys all have a great day. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.